Hey, so this is Editor Void here. If you want to skip right to the reading, go to 250. I will probably have it. I'll probably have it saved as a chapter, but I do recommend you stick around so past Void can explain what the heck's going on. Also, please cut me some slack if I sound incredibly out of it. I am so tired. I am really tired while making this. It is currently 10 o'clock when I'm recording this, so yeah, I'm tired. Alright. Hello everyone. Welcome to the Zenith radio station. This is a podcast where I and friends of mine will be talking about a large variety of things. These things could range from a large variety of things, actually. Some consist of Nocturne/Gem Saga, the series that I co-own with two friends. Truth Chronicles, a personal project of mine. Minecraft, or other game stuff. Canned or old projects me and the gang have left in the abyss to rot and die, hopefully. And of course, memes. Lots and lots of memes. Now, I can't truly guarantee that each episode will have a guest accompanying me, in each episode. So, all I can say is there will be guests throughout the podcast. Some examples are V, Flame, and Dice Wolf. Now, let's get on to the weird, batshit insane things that'll happen in this first episode of the podcast. And yes, I will be swearing a lot more. Now, a little thing to know before we get into things, not all episodes will be visual, so just something you should be aware of whilst watching. Episode 1. Explanations and Stories. So, this video was supposed to be me looking at Nocturnes and random memes, but unfortunately OBS decided to piece of shit. Yeah, now I am unable to use it. I did luckily find alternative recording software to continue being here. So if audio quality is poor in the coming videos, that is why. Now let me say one thing before we move on to our reading. I'll be including minor moments of my characters popping in to make their statements during videos. Don't worry, I'll explain everything that's been happening really just in a bigger, longer video. A completely different video, by the way. Now, on to the reading. Fate's Prophecy. A prophecy of destruction by Fate's hands. Chapter Unknown. Voidpire lay slumped against the wall of the old cabin. He had spent the past, week? 2 weeks? A month? Running with those who had survived to this old home of his. He sighed softly and looked down at his hands. His hands were covered in scars and scratches from his numerous battles. His hands began to shake as he pressed them against his face. Voidpire? Is everything alright, hon? A voice spoke up with concern. Voidpire immediately looked up to find Marie standing in the doorway, lavender nowhere in sight. likely asleep in her room. Vampire breathed a shaky sigh and nodded softly. Yeah, I'm just so tired. Marie smiled softly and walked over to them and sat next to Vampire. The two sat in peaceful silence for a couple minutes before Marie spoke up. You know, I'm not gonna leave until you tell me what's really wrong, hon. Marie teased, jabbing Vampire in the side. Vampire tried to smile. A small smile. I'm sorry, just... He sighed. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. We lost. Me and Celine lost. I lost. Marie rubbed the Vampire's back lightly. Void, hun, you didn't. You survived, didn't you? But many didn't, Vampire shot back, his eyes unable to stay focused on Marie. Because of that fucking demon. So many people are dead, Vampire said, his voice shaking horribly. But you didn't die. Celine didn't. Lavender and I didn't. Our family survived. We must have hope. We must believe we will survive. Marie made Vampire look deep into her eyes. Vampire, she whispered. Fate may say that we lose, but we won't. Because fate also says you will be stronger than her, stronger than Nyx and Bismuth, that you will carry on. And I know that you have that power inside you, Vampire. She lightly tapped her finger against Vampire's chest, right where his heart was. Why won't you let it out? Vampire looked deep into his wife's eyes, and sighed sadly. Because I'm afraid, Vampire confessed. I'm afraid that if I let myself become who I'm supposed to be, I won't be me anymore, Vampire continued, his voice shaky with guilt and mourning. I've seen so many people die. One being my best friend who, when I was just trying to make her stop what she was doing, she didn't listen. You know this. Marie nodded sadly. I lost control. I don't want him to control again. Vampire's eyes filled with tears. I don't want to lose you. Vampire finally said.
Divine
I've lost enough
judgment.
I've lost enough people. The look in Vampire's eyes made him seem ancient. They showed love and loss. Villages built and burned. This internal battle between himself, the darkness, and who he's supposed to be. Marie sighed softly and hugged Vampire. Vampire hugged back gratefully. He was so tired. The two eventually fell asleep in each other's embrace, while Marie had normal, peaceful dreams. Vampire saw something else. He saw truth, and balance, and most importantly, divine judgment. Whiphar's eyes shut open as he sat up quickly, breathing a bit heavily. But his breathing steadied out almost immediately as he saw where he was. His confusion outweighed his surprise and fear. Whiphar was outside the walls of Pogshire. What the fuck? Whiphar said to himself as he got up, slowly wiping some dirt off of him. How was he here? Was he even here? Whiphar began to cautiously walk through the gate of the village, and realized it wasn't quite Pogshire. There were some differences. Like the sky was oddly reddish pink. The sun was rising, or setting, but there was no sun or moon in the sky. Some chunks of houses and buildings just floated in the air above. The air was oddly crisp, like it was pure, like the purest air in the known universe. And it was quiet. Hello? Whiphar called, his voice faintly echoing. Hello? He called again, continuing down the main path. At some point, though, as he passed the beacon tower, everything was different. Now he was in a dark forest. Snow fell silently and slowly as Whiphar walked. He recognized this forest. It was where his home was. As he walked the forest, the area changed again, becoming another familiar place, then another, and another. Soon, he entered an area that seemed to be a combination of all the places he just went through. There was a path ahead of him, and at the end of the path was a town hall from Zenith. Whiphar cautiously walked towards the door, hesitated, but eventually opened them and entered. And he was immediately in the meeting room. There were multiple empty chairs, with a lantern in the middle of the table, casting a warm glow across the room. Whiphar looked around cautiously, instinctively reaching for his sword strapped to his back. Is anyone here? There was no response. Eventually, the light in the lantern went out, but it almost immediately returned, revealing a few people, one of which he recognized. There were 5 people. 6 if you included Whiphar. The first of the 5 was a male, Whiphar's age, with long blonde hair which had dark reddish brown dye in it. They wore a blue undershirt with a gray jacket / tank top with a large purple symbol in the middle with a gemstone around the red collar of the shirt. They also wore gray gloves, a belt, dark red jeans, and black boots. Benches covered multiple parts of their visible body, like their right eye, neck, right forearm, and left or upper arm, around the shoulder, precise. There were also a few scars along their arms and face. Interesting. The second person was a female ender, who wore a dark gray formal jacket with purple accents, purple gloves, gray pants, and black boots. They also had a pair of cloak-like pauldrons adorning their shoulders, which had a purple heart in the middle of both. They also had a heart-shaped choker around their neck. Their soft purple eyes showed unending tiredness and a large amount of shyness. The third Void Pyre knew immediately, it being in the darkness. Though they were not wearing any armor, leaving to be a black silhouette with purple cracks that were identical to tears going down their face and with all too familiar demonic smile. The fourth was someone he did not recognize. In all honesty, they looked like if Voidfire was born female and had different skin patterning. Their deep purplish blue eyes stared back at Voidfire with seemingly shared curiosity. And then there was the fifth person. Were they even a person? Voidfire was ultimately completely unsure. There were a black silhouette like the darkness, but they were different. They seemed to be wearing heavy yet light armor with large wings. They seemed to be wearing a mask, judging from the way their eyes were, and how there was a dark purple glow that is segmented where the mouth would be. They were by far the tallest of the six of them. They looked at Voidpire with... Voidpire wasn't sure how they were looking at him. With the darkness, he could always tell. He was familiar with them. But this person, he didn't know what he was going beyond those eyes. "Where am I?" Voidpire asked, looking at the five. "What is this place?" The darkness laughed his all-too-familiar laugh. "Don't you recognize it, Ember?" they asked. "This is your mind. The room we stand in has been constructed via your memories." Voidpire felt confused. "Okay, so if this is my mind, who the hell, no offense to any of you, are the rest of you?" Voidpire questioned, looking at the other four people. The darkness chuckled a little bit. "Isn't it obvious? It's the parts of you, just like me." The darkness teleported closer every pause sentence until he was right in front of him. Voidpire understandably took a swing of aggravation, but the darkness teleported back to where they were, laughing maniacally. Of course. Voidpire took a deep breath and sighed, looking at the other people in the room, trying to figure out what they represented. He glanced at the male figure standing next to the female ender. "So, who are you two?" Voidpire asked, looking at the two. We're your mind and soul," the male said calmly, his voice almost identical to Voidpire's. A little younger, to say the least, but still. "I'm mind," continued the male. "And I'm soul," spoke the female ender, clearly incredibly shy and nervous around others. Voidpire, upon knowing the two, was able to understand who they were properly. Mind was his human half, being his more outward and confident part, and soul was his ender half. She was his shy and nervous part of him. There are two parts of him that made him whole. Voidpire then glanced at the woman who pretty much the entire time had been staring at curiously. So, who are you? Your balance, I guess. But my name is Kara. I honestly don't know why I'm truly here, and why you and I look so similar. My paranoid understanding. So there's the darkness, the personified versions, the darkness, the personified version of his evils, mind and soul, his human and ender halves, respectively. Kara, who is supposedly the balance between mind and soul, but who is the last person? Okay, so I understand who the rest of you are, but who the hell are you? Viper said, looking at the unknown figure, incredibly confused. I am your purity, the figure said. Viper took a surprised step back. By the voice he heard, it was his own, except more powerful. I am the man fate has written you to become. I am what prophecy has written. I am the prophesized one. I am you. The figure spoke. Voipire felt unnerved. So this was who he was supposed to be? This was the man he would become if he let go? Why am I here? Voipire asked, looking at the five. Because it's time you face the truth, Emperor. Voipire immediately looked at the prophesized one. We have brought you here for the sole purpose of you accepting who you are and who you're supposed to represent. Sorry, what you're supposed to represent. Sorry, I'm really tired. The prophesized one continued. But why? Why must I become you? Why must we become? Why must we become the divine embodiment of hope? Why can't I just continue to protect my family and friends the way I have? Because you will be killed, the darkness said suddenly. What? You'll be killed, Ember. The mother of puppets will kill you, and Celine. Fate has written it. But Pyre shook his head, refusing to believe it. No, I won't believe you. Ember, please listen to us, Mine began to say, walking over to Voipire to comfort him. No! Voipire snapped. I won't listen to you. If it means becoming something like Nyx, I won't be chained down and forced to do something I will regret. The prophesized one audibly sighed and put a hand against her mask. Ember, do you not realize what will happen if you don't let yourself accept this and become who we are? You and Celine will die. Marie and Lavender will die. Everyone will die! Voipire watched the prophesized one as they stared right back at him. He sighed softly. What's written can always be unwritten, he whispered. What? Fate is written, he said. You said that fate has written that if I don't let myself become who I'm supposed to be, everyone will die? Voipire questioned. The darkness glared at Voipire. Ember, what are you planning? I plan to rewrite the script, Voipire said coldly. Fate has said numerous times that I'd die, and I have. But here I stand. Fate has yet to drag me to Valhalla because I've rewritten fate. The darkness sighed, though it was more like a growl. Ember, you can't just rewrite fate. It doesn't work like that. Oh, shut the fuck up about that! Voipire snapped, slamming his fist against the meeting table. When he spoke that time, the prophesized one said the same thing at the same time. They did the same actions at Voipire. I have sacrificed my life multiple times. I've rewritten fate many times, so don't you lecture me on fate. The darkness simply glared at Voidpire. Voidpire then turned to the others, and it seemed the process one was back in control of themselves. Now you five will listen to me. We will not listen to fate. We will rewrite fate, and I may accept the responsibilities and the title of who I'm supposed to be, but I will not ascend. I will not become a divine entity and join the gods. I will not join Nox's stupid cycle of death and ascension. We, all 6 of us, are going to be better. We are going to rewrite fate, and we will survive. Understand? Voidpire said, looking at the 5 figures that represented the different parts of him. The darkness sighed. Fine, but if you are on the verge of death, I will take control and solar everything in my path. There will be no need, because did you forget? I will not die this time. I will not lose again. Voidpire opened his eyes slowly and looked around quietly. He was back in his home. Marie was still slowly by his side. Marie, upon sensing Voidpire moving, opened her eyes confused. Voidpire, dear, is everything okay? Marie asked, her eyes tired and her words slurring together slightly. Yeah, I know what I'm to do. I know how to beat her. Voidpire sat up, looking at Voidpire. How? Voidpire looked at Marie quietly and smiled softly. I'm going to rewrite the script. To rewrite fate, you must be willing to accept its new outcome.